Hey guys, it's Ali from Levraw-Online and I am here accompanied by Victor from Rackcala. Hey man, how you doing?
I'm doing very good, dude, but I actually caught a flu yesterday, so I'm wearing these things.
Alright, well let's try and keep that throat warm, especially because we're about to talk for quite a while.
Oh my god.
So this is technically episode, canonically speaking, 2 is technically the episode 3 that we're recording, and we'll release it to you as soon as possible. Anyways, so last week we made ourselves and we talked about the movie Atlantic Rim, which is a ripoff from Pacific Rim made by Asylum. You can find that video posted on Victor's channel, but also it's available on the playlist in front of both of our channels in our front page. This week we decided to challenge ourselves to watch Transmorphers. Now, you think, is this kind of like the ripoff of Transformers, or as so they suggest before you watch the movie, but it has quite a twist. Let's get right on it, right?
I'm ready, Ali.
Alright, so first of all, some background information for you guys. This movie, compared to Atlantic Rim, was made on 2007, released at least in 2007, while the other one was released in 2013. And we gotta say, it's definitely better. It goes to show that Asylum at some point kind of gave a darn, so a little bit more back then. So let's get right on it, okay? I wrote some stuff while we were watching it, and I'm gonna try and point it out. So, what do you think about it as a story as a whole? Like, not forget that it's a ripoff of something else. Would you say
it was
more engaging?
It was a pretty standard storyline. I mean, they have been fighting the robot for what, thousands of years? Hundreds of years, they say.
At least
hundreds of years. They live in the underground, and they have this crazy idea of destroying that tower that controls everything. I mean, it's a pretty standard movie, but I think it was pretty well executed, considering this is a pretty bad studio, and it was entertaining. I like it. Some actors were pretty good. Also, I mean, you have to remember that there are also very bad actors here. But in the end, it was pretty entertaining, except the CGI. The CGI was lackluster, horrible in every sense of the way.
But story-wise, I mean, I think that the script definitely is better than Atlantic.
Yeah.
I mean, at least I feel like they were building the tension better for a climax scene rather than like shooting you in the first 20 minutes and then not knowing what to do.
Yeah, the storyline made much more sense.
There were a couple of scenes that I felt that were not needed, like the fight by the bunkers with the girls. But other than that, I mean, I think pretty much everything was slightly there. Now, one thing that we were noticing when we were watching it, and if you remember, we were saying that this movie, while called Transmorphers, it's actually a plot very like Terminator. I mean, the war happening with the robots. The only reason they called them Transmorphers, which by the way they never use this word on the movie, it's because they tend to do like a shift mode into a heavier weapon mode, kind of like a mecha in anime. But really, I mean, to me, the cinematography, well, the style, the stylization of the movie and the story look more like Terminator Salvation. And I was telling you that this is very surprising because the movie came out on 2009 and this came out in 2007. So I gotta give them props on that. Though then again, every Terminator movie has been showing us at the beginning how the future is supposed to look. So there's that, right? Now, like you were saying, let's go directly into what is the acting. We had definitely there's some guys here who I would say stand out. What do you think about, like, for example, the protagonist? Or call Mitchell.
It was Warren. I don't remember.
Well, Warren Mitchell is his name.
They don't say his name a lot, or if they say name, you don't know who they are talking to.
They stopped saying it. They said it a couple of times at the beginning when they asked for him to be unfreezed, but after that they never really called him by his name. It was just kind of like, hey man.
I think he was standard. He was normal. I mean, he was okay.
Mm-hmm.
The other guy Priest, Griff first.
Who? Oh, his friend Ichi, Griff. Yeah, Griff is the name of the actor. Ichi's his character.
Yeah, Ichi, he was pretty good too. But I think the most awesome actor you can find in this movie is the guy that is giving directions in the bunker with the other girl that I don't remember her name. I call her Cortana because
Yeah.
she talks like a robot. Yeah.
Like a weather later.
But do you see that the actor that is giving the orders looks a lot like Elon Musk
Slightly.
from Tesla?
A little bit like him when he was younger. Yeah.
And so I was like, Commander Musk, I receive you.
But I definitely think that he had like a straighter face when giving his lines, but like without being like a plank, like actually some, which leads me to believe maybe that's why he had so few lines, like through a whole movie. But yeah, him, Ichi, and the protagonist. Surprisingly, we were looking him up, and while we were watching the movie, apparently they've done some, some work after this in actual. Well, I mean, it's kind of mean to say actual films, but you know what I mean, like bigger films. Some fun fact for people watching: the guy playing Ichi, the best friend of our protagonist, actually went to work in Terminator Genesis, apparently, which is funny again, going from a mechanic robot battle to another. And again, the guy who plays the protagonist, who, again, there's a big spoiler alert here, guys. There's a twist in the movie where he turns out, just like in Salvation, to be a robot. In this case, again, another like cyborg-ish. And apparently, he's currently he's in the movie with
Jennifer Lawrence and
Chris Pratt. Yeah, and he's again a robot serving in the bar. So I guess he went full circle from being a robot to a robot. Now, we went earlier. So there's that as a twist in the end, right? Before going a little bit forward on that, and like on the story part, let's keep going on the actors. We were dividing them as good and bad. We were saying that like somebody who definitely came out to us was the Raider girl, the Cortana, because all her lines are given like that, and she basically gives like an information to one of the missions like that, right? But in the same scene, I wanted to point out that I'm glad they killed off these guys. The bros.
Yeah.
We had yeah, go. Because they show us a group of guys at first that it's kind of like an interesting way of managing the whole thing. By the way, they have a team that dies and then they bring in our team. But there's these two guys who are way too excited about going out and testing new guns, and then they die like in the first scene. Well,
it was funny because they gave them a lot of relevance. I was thinking that they were going to survive or something, because the girl was like all the time saying, "They are holding back info. They're holding it back."
But none of the first guys survived, which I was surprised. I was hoping that at least one of them would come back. But anyways, but there is one actress that I think takes the goal on the bad side. You were saying?
Yeah, the girl that it's the ex-girlfriend of Mitchell is one, and the other one is the girl that acts a little like Elena Bonham Carter. She was trying to give this crazy vibe, edgy vibe. And I'm saying also the ex-girlfriend of Mitchell, because there is a scene that they are arguing, and then the ex-girlfriend starts mirroring the acting of this other bad actress, and it was a pretty bad arguing. I mean, they were like pretty the same character arguing with each other. Oh no, it was horrible. I can't describe it. It was that horrible.
That's definitely weird.
It was really weird.
Now, talking about those two characters, I think it's important to mention that there was like a weird romantic dynamic in this whole thing. It was definitely better than, again, that the trio in
Atlantic Rim, yeah.
Atlantic Rim. Because it was a little bit deeper, right? The story goes, guy, it's in the rebellion. He was obviously friends with the redhead, Paul Carter kind of style, edgy girl. But they were not in a relation. While she was in a relation with the other one, with black hair girl. And then he got on trial or something for trying to make a coup d'etat, and then he got frozen. And so the other girl thought he was dead, and ended up marrying somehow the new girl in chief, the redhead girl. And now that he's back, it's like awkward because I mean she's married, and the other one is like, hey man, I mean you're now it's all mine. And it's kind of But we both know that at the end, you were saying that it's kind of awkward that like he ends up kissing his ex.
Yeah, I
I mean,
remember that part
no
that
matter what.
he was going to sacrifice himself, and then he kissed his ex-girlfriend, knowing that she has been married to the captain for like 5 years. You're like, I mean, he's going to die.
Like, oh yeah, he's a leader, but I guess like you said, right? The hero gets it in the end.
In every single way.
One last
He
kiss.
gets the kiss and he gets a dramatic death.
Right. He's
But
traumatic
what's
death.
up with his boss
Yep.
Ligurian personification? I mean, he was like trying to grasp the air.
Definitely no. I when that started happening, I wasn't sure what like if he was. I honestly thought he was still gonna be alive. I was like, no. Well, I mean, I guess they could.
When he
I mean,
goes out of the chamber and he's like, yeah.
like you said, it's so dramatic that I thought it was gonna go either way. Like he could have kept walking, but then just. Which again goes to like that was his like one like while he was acting pretty decently, that moment just kind of like made it for me like, oh man, come on. And then of course there we have the doctor. By the way, going back to bad actors, I felt like he's you know, while giving his
Also,
speech
let's talk about his plan, okay? By what we understand with
Right.
the plan, it's that they want to open a robot, a transmorpher, and they want to remove the fuel cell with the objective of going to the tower that it's in control of, I think, of the mission of conquering the Earth, and they are going to reprogram
kinda, yeah.
the robots. But they explain it in
Yes.
a very vague way that we didn't understand it at first. And also there is a point that you don't really know what happened in the end, that if they were reprogrammed or what happened to our robots, because they don't show it to you, that just that the tower, I think it falls down.
Already shut down.
But
Yeah.
there is a twist too with the robots, with the machines. They open one up and they are full of blood, and I mean they are biological. Also, that makes you think. I mean, can you really reprogram something that it's biological? Because you can think that they are depending a lot of these cyber parts. So in my opinion, like I was telling you before we started this podcast, it will be better if the movie was like, they take the fuel cell, they go to the tower, and because the fuel cell probably it has some nuclear power, it can be explode.
Yeah, like the one
Yeah.
from Terminator, the one that has Arnold inside that throws away and blows up.
Yeah, you can explode it, and after that to explode the tower, but all the beings are not going to be reprogrammed because they are like a hive, and they depend on the tower. They will all shut down. They will be technically still alive because they are biological, but they won't move because all their cyber parts won't work. That would have been a better plot, a very much
Yeah, you just leave
interesting
them
one
defenseless.
than this one.
Yeah, I think they didn't think it through like that much on that plan. Which, by the way, again, going back to that moment that the tower transformed to begin with was kind of like what? I didn't coming. I think there's a couple of things. I mean that didn't make sense a lot to me. Regarding the robots, like you're saying, because they were different sizes. So if they were living beings, I'm not sure if like their species were supposed to be huge guys or if those were actually full machines. Same with the ones that were like airplanes. But none of the robots looked anything like the one in the cover.
No,
I don't know if you noticed that.
there is a robot that is
I
that
get
is
it,
very
but-
big that appears, but it doesn't have all the weapons that he was supposed to have here.
Yeah.
But and
Well, I
then
mean,
he
they
and then he
simplified the design on the
stomps.
face.
Do you remember that part that he's walking and then he
Yes.
stomps like and kills like two other robots?
It's like the big reveal, like, oh, they have a giant robot, and it just goes and squishes everybody for drama. They were your friends.
That was
Um,
horrible. And also, do you remember the CGI parts And when I mean
Yes.
CGI parts is when they are defeating the robots. For example, they
Yeah, like
use a
fighting.
mine that we are going to call it the EMP mine because it's easier than what they say it in a movie.
Yeah, yeah.
There is a point that they throw it and then it explodes and all the robots just go in different directions but
Flow
horizontally
away.
and it looks very weird.
It's like if they were animating it and then they just were like, okay, just make it like, you know what I mean, like with the
And do
transition
it
mode.
fast.
Um, definitely. That and I mean, I don't know if you were noticing, but in one of the fights, they get a lot of them like shooting at them from the sky, and one of them just freezes midway, like they forgot to continue animating him, and he just stands like this, like a toy, in the middle of the scene, and everything else keeps happening around him. So I mean, however, the CGI is kind of expected to be badly in this kind of films, right?
Yeah.
But let's go over on the editing, though. I think there was a couple of mistakes. First of all, it's very little, but there's a scene where the audio cuts off on one of them talking.
With the doctor.
Oh, well, it doesn't cut off, it changes, yeah. And you can hear like an echo in the room. And I mean, the only way that happened is that definitely everybody they were filming with a boom, and obviously with a camera probably to sync it. And I feel like something happened with the boom audio that they had to replace, because it's just that second. Then it changes back to regular, clean audio. Then again, pretty good job anyways, right? On the good side, like we were saying, there is the sets. I don't know, what do you think about that?
They were pretty good. I mean, they use a lot of lights to give you the atmosphere that it's the
Sci-fi
future. Yeah.
fishy.
Also moving doors that open like this. That was pretty good too. Like I was saying, the studio actually cared about something here.
I definitely think like that was something ingenious, because a low budget film needs to be like that, right? Like they need to find a way to keep it the best looking with the lowest cost. So they managed that the whole story happened inside of the base, most of it, before they actually had to go to the fight. So I think that's how they were able to invest in like a better set. And it definitely made the movie more likable. Because last time they were filming the scenes in the army and in the boat, in like rooms in like a school or like a library or something like that, and it was really like taking you out of the story. And in this case, I feel like it I mean, obviously we all know it's fake and it was cardboardy and stuff, but like it makes you more into it, like into the story. But things that take me out of it were definitely the editing cuts. Do you remember the split scene?
Oh yeah, that was pretty horrible.
I felt like they were there for no reason.
You remember the part when the screen puts in 3? It's because they were trying to make the reactions of the plan that they were proposing, but the actors were pretty dull. I mean, they didn't make believable expressions.
Like
so you're like, and what's the meaning of this? I mean, what I'm supposed to say to be like these characters that they don't believe that they're going to make it, or what? It was horrible.
Plus, I feel like the 3 people they chose is like one of them was important and the other guys were 2 people we didn't really care that much, at least at that point in the movie. Which we were then to think that they were going to be the main characters, but then they brought in Mitchell. So the other times, I felt like they just used them as transitions. They looked like a 24, you know, like the show kind of cut. But it was weird because the time they used the split on the 3, like the 1/3 split screen, they had a full screen. And in this case, they just left it black, kind of like when we filmed Tandem. They just had them side by side here and everything else black. But for like, I don't know, 5 seconds tops maybe. And one of them was like 2 scenes at the same time, like full screen went to half with another half, and then this one went to full. But the second time, I don't know if you noticed, but one showed up and everything else stayed dark for the longest time. Like, you know, it was seconds, but like it just felt longer because it's a movie. And then the other thing popped up and then finally disappeared. I felt like that was weak stuff, right?
This movie, I mean, like we're telling, it's a repo. So, I mean, you don't need to have a lot of high expectations when you have to remind yourself you're watching a really horrible movie. You will see a lot of errors here.
But I mean, I think that like, well, editing is one thing. Editing is still the directing. Like, no matter how low budget, you should be able to know how to give a good story. There's 2 things, and I'd like to close with that today. That I definitely think like while the story was pretty good, these two things kind of took off from the story. What do you think about the flashback when he's dying?
Like
So this is his
I
last
was
moment,
telling
right?
Ale before we start the podcast that it will be more better that scene when he was going, because he has a lot of flashbacks about his ex-girlfriend and also of the sky. And
Yeah.
I mean, it makes
his
sense that
dream.
he's reminding this guy because he said that he was up a lot of times. He fight the robots there, so everyone was like, I want to see this guy again. He reminds his ex-girlfriend, like I was saying. It would have been better if the scenes were like in his position, from his eyes watching her, because
POVs.
they are only cuts from the movie. I think
Definitely.
it removes
I think
the
they could have added a new
personal part there. Also, there was a part that he says that when he was in cryostasis, he only has one dream, and that was the dream of a world in which nothing like that happened. So it will be more interesting to see how the city, just the city, shots from the city, people doing normal stuff, and it will have been a little more human, in my opinion, because
I think I agree.
it will have been better.
No, you're right. No, they could have like spent a little bit more money just to film an extra scene, right? And use that as his last vision. Maybe like everybody he knew, but like having a regular life, right, for like a second.
Also, there is a thing that I wanted to point you out, and I think this will be the ending, right? We can end it with this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Also,
yeah.
if we're going to finish it with the ending, okay, the ending of the
Exactly. I was
movie.
going to go for that. That little montage they made once they win the war. What do you think about that?
I mean, I like that they made a focus with the characters, the tertiary characters, especially with the girl that is removing the goggles in a dramatic way.
Yeah.
Like, finally, this is over. But there was a scene that a spaceship or whatever that was goes from right to left, and I mean it go pretty fast, and then they put like 3 fireworks, and it reminded me a lot of the ending scene of Return of the Jedi when the Empire is defeated, and then they start throwing fireworks everywhere, and it was all fun. Everything was like a spaceship goes. It releases 3 fireworks. 3 fireworks. They look really awful and really. I didn't like them, and they didn't stay a lot, because then it goes out. The movie just finishes there.
Yeah, because to the girl with the goggles. Definitely, I definitely think the same. Like, because the show with the captain and her wife.
That was a pretty good.
Yeah, and then having the 2 girls kind of come into frame in that show would have been good if the fireworks had been a little bit better. Because it would have been like they come looking, the fireworks would be like a sign that they won. The ship we could have done without it, because it was too fast. But you're right. I feel like while the thing was, it meant that things were done. I mean, it was definitely a better end shot than the last one where we saw the fire on Atlantic Rim. But I think there could have been an extra shot at the end, maybe showing the battlefield and stuff. But it was probably expensive, right, with CGI. So it was the best shot they could do, but I think they could have done a better shot.
And
you know what I mean?
In the end, Mitchell died like a human, and the best thing of all, nobody knew he was a robot.
Yeah, for example, that like there was a narrative at the beginning. I feel like there could have been some narrative at the end, maybe, kind of like Terminator.
Yeah.
Or somebody saying something like that, like even like something like, I don't know, in the end the savior to the robots was a robot himself, or he had more humanity than us, or something.
What makes you a human, or something like that? Our memories.
Yeah, something Blade Runner-y.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm just saying, like, I feel like that could have been a cool take. If it's kind of like pretty sure that's something they say in Salvation. The guy who saves John gives him his heart, and it's kind of like, who would say that like the one who saved him ended up being made by the Terminators, stuff like that. I don't know. And it says that nobody knows about it or something. I can't remember.
Like 3 people.
But definitely, I mean, that too. There was very little impact to him becoming a robot after all. Like, it was a pretty good twist, but nobody else seemed to care about it. and I feel like that scene they had where everybody kind of walked away from the droid should have been an implication later to everybody having like a rough time working along with him as a droid. That's my final note, definitely. What do you? Anything else you want to add?
No, I think that's all. I mean, I'm saying this was a very good movie for the standards of this studio, but still it's a very bad movie. But it's very entertaining. So if someday you don't have internet and you have to watch TV, and this movie is on the TV, I will give it a shot. It's entertaining.
Now,
it's hilarious in some parts.
If you had to rate it as a regular film, how much would you give it?
As a regular film, I will give it a 3, 4, 3.5 maybe. It's that.
And if you were comparing it with like Asylum films?
With Asylum films, I will give them an 8, but I'm going to give them a 7 because, I mean, this movie was previous 5 years than Atlantic Rim. So it shows that the studio at some point they stopped caring and they made their movies worse. So 7.
So okay, so definite 7 from you. Strong 7 in the Asylum scale and a 3.5 each for on regular. Alrighty.
Asylum scale.
I mean, I think that's a good way to end it.
Probably means a lobotomy.
Yeah. You need that to watch the movie and enjoy it. Alright then. So, I think it's about a good time for us to end the show here. What do you agree?
Yeah, it will be good for me. I wanted to add that
there's nothing else? Yep.
I wanted to add that I uploaded a video on my channel. It's a small review of Shin Godzilla. I watched it this week. It was entertaining in my opinion, so check it out. It's a very good movie.
Alrighty guys, so I'll put the link in the description, or if not in a frame here in the show, somewhere. So I totally go check his channel out. That's pretty much all for us. We'll see you, we'll record at least next week when we'll make ourselves watch The Terminators. Because we're wondering now if this one ripped Terminator was the Terminators from 2009 ripped off, because that's from the same year as Asylum. Anyways, see you guys soon. This was Ale and Victor. It would be a very big
twist if the Terminators has a plot of Transformers. That would be really fun to watch.
I'd love if that was the situation, to be honest. Okay guys, so that's all for us. See you guys next week. Bye.